The Harmattan breeze swept Lagos like a whispered warning, but Adaeze didn't hear it. She was too busy laughing with her friends at the back of the keke napep, their chatter loud enough to drown out the city's honking chaos. She was 21 years old, a second-year student at the University of Lagos, with big eyes, a quick smile, and dreams of living this kind of life she saw on Instagram. Champagne glasses, designer's bag, infinity pools. Her friends, Chika and Fola, were her mirrors, confident, daring, and endless fashionable. It was Fola who first brought up the tattoo idea. Babe, it's not just the art, it's a vibe, she said one humid evening, scrolling through pictures of celebrities with intricate tattoos. A girl with a tattoo looked expensive, dangerous, desirable. Adaeze hesitated. Her mother, Mamada, a church woman to the bone, had always warned her. A tattoo is a mark, and some marks, Adaeze's, are not for beauty. They are for binding. But peer pressure is a soft knife. It doesn't stab. It presses slowly until they move. A week later, on a Friday evening thick with traffic fumes and smell of roasted corn, Adaeze followed her friends into a dim giraffe-covered tattoo parlor, tucked between two beer parlors in Surulere. The air inside smelled of ink and something odor, something that didn't belong. The tattooist was a man in his 50s, with tribal marks deep as scars of war. His eyes, one brown, one a milky white, seemed to look through her. He didn't ask what design she wanted. He just smiled a slow, knowing smile. I have the perfect one for you, he said in a voice like gravel. She should have walked away, but she didn't. The design was unlike anything she had seen. An intricate serpent coiling around a black sun, its tail ending in strange symbols. The pain burned as the needle buzzed, but midway through a strange coldness crept into her arm. She thought it was normal. When it was done, the man pressed his palm over the fresh ink. His hand was colder than ice. It is yours now, he murmured. And you are his. At first, the tattoo seemed to work like magic in her life. Guys noticed her more. The campus big girls nodded at her in the hallway. She started getting invitations to VIP lounge and parties in Ikoyi. One of her pictures went viral on Instagram. She was living the life she wanted. Also, she thought. Then the whispers began. Late at night, when her hostel was silent except for the hum of distant generators, she could hear it, a hiss, soft but close, as if someone was breathing against her neck. Sometimes she would wake up to find the serpent in her tattoo moving, its tail coiling tighter around her arm, the black sun pulsing like a heartbeat. Her dreams changed too. She saw herself standing in a vast red desert, surrounded by faceless figures, chanting in a language she didn't understand. In the center, a throne of bones, and sitting on it, a tall shadow with eyes like molten gold, smiling at her as if she had been expected. One night, after leaving a party in Lekki, she felt a searing pain in her arm so strong it buckled on her nails. Her friend screamed as the tattoo began to glow under her skin, the serpent's mouth opening wider than before. She fainted. When she woke up, she was alone in a dark room. Not a hostel, not a hospital. The walls were black stones, and in the corner, a shadow from her dreams was waiting. You wear my mark, he said in a voice that echoed inside her bones. Now you belong to me. From that night on, Adaeze's life unraveled. Her friends stopped calling her. They said she was weird now. Men who once adorned her suddenly avoided her, muttering about bad luck. Her mother's pastor said he saw a chain of darkness wrapped around her spirit. The worst part, she could no longer hide the tattoo. It began to spread, black veins crawling up her neck, coiling across her collarbone as if the serpent was trying to consume her. She tried everything, prayers, fasting, even traveling to a small village in Ogun State to see a prophet. But every night she dreamt of the throne of bones, and every morning she woke up with the serpent tighter around her. It was on the 40th day that she understood the cause. She woke up in her mother's house, having run home the night before, shaking with fever. In the mirror, her reflection smiled at her. but her lips had not moved. The serpent on her skin was gone, because it had crawled into her eyes. From the glass, her own voice spoke, layered with the deep tone of shadow. You wanted the life of the marked. Now you will live with it forever. Her scream tore through the house, but by the time her mother reached her, Adaeze was silent and smiling. The harmattan wind blew against through Lagos that morning, cold and dry, carrying with it the whispers of something ancient and hungry. The days after the mirror incident were a blur. Adaeze stopped going to classes. The once vibrant girl who danced on Instagram Reels now sat alone in her mother's small city room in Surulere, staring at nothing. Mama Ada prayed until her voice cracked. She called pastors, prophets, even herbalists. They all said the same thing. This is not ordinary. She has made a covenant without knowing. At night, the neighbors complained of strange sounds, scratching against the walls like claws dragging along cement. One woman swore she saw a black snake slip under the front door at midnight, but when they sat, nothing was there. One of Adaeze's friends, Chika, who had been there the day she got the tattoo, came to visit. She entered the room and froze. Adaeze was sitting cross-legged on the bed, her eyes entirely black. The air was cold despite the humid Lagos rain. On her arm, the serpent tattoo had returned, but now it was larger, its head resting against neck as if whispering into her ear. Ada, Chika whispered. Adaeze's head tilted slowly, like a puppet. Chika, she said, but her voice was deeper, almost two voices at once. Do you want one too? Chika ran. By the third week, Adaeze no longer ate food. Her mother would find place untouched, but in the morning, dead lizards and rats lay in the corner of her room. Their bodies twisted, their blood drained. Sometimes, Mama Ada would hear her daughter laughing in the dead of the night. Not the bright laughter she knew, but something slow and guttural. The serpent now covered almost her entire body, the black sun on her back burning faintly. Even through clothes, strangers on the street would cross to the other side when they saw her pass. One night, the final change came. It was power outage as usual. The neighborhood dark except for a few flickering kerosene lamps. Mama Ada woke up to the sound of hissing, loud, angry hissing. She rushed to Adaeze's room and pushed the door open. The room was empty. The window was wide open. Despite being on the second floor, rain poured in, soaking the mattress. On the wet floor was a single thing, the skin of a snake, long and black, as if something had shed it and moved on. From outside, deep in the night street of Lagos, came the sound of footsteps and a laugh that was no longer humane. For weeks, Adaeze was gone. Mama Ada mourned as if her child had died, lighting candles and praying through the night. But in the depth of Lagos, Adaeze wandered like a shadow, torn between her human soul and the dark spirit that claimed her. The serpent whispered promises. Forget your old life. With me, you will never be hungry, never fear, and never age. But in rare moments of silence, Adaeze heard something else, her mother's voice and soft, steady, calling her name in prayers. One night, after a heavy downpour, Adaeze found herself standing before a small weathered church in Mushin. She didn't know how she had arrived there. Her feet had moved on their own. Inside, a lone pastor was praying, his voice cutting through the damp air. When he saw her, his eyes widened, not in fear, but in recognition. Child, he said, you are not lost yet. Serpent inside her roared. Its hissing echoed so loud she clutched her ears. Her vision blurred, and the black sun on her back began to burn like fire. She fell to the ground, writhing. The pastor began to pray, his voice rising like a drumbeat against the storm outside. Every mark not of God be broken. The air grew thick, almost choking. Adaeze felt the serpent tightening around her ribs, squeezing her lungs. She screamed until her voice cracked. Then, a sudden crack like glass shattering inside her. The serpent's weight lifted. Her body shook violently, and a stream of black smoke poured from her mouth, coiling upward like a shadow fleeing the light. She felt it leave, every coil, every whisper, until there was nothing but silence. When she opened her eyes, she was lying on the floor, soaked in sweat. The tattoo was gone. The black sun was gone. All that remained was a faint pale scar where the serpent had once been. The pastor knelt beside her. "You will carry the memory," he said, "but not the cause, because you are free." Adaeze later went home, and her mother rejoiced with her that her once lost daughter has been found. Months later, Adaeze returned to the university. She kept her sleeves long, not to hide anything now, but to remind herself of the price she had almost paid. She stopped being friends with the campus big girls because she was afraid that she would return back to her old self. She just wanted to live a normal life, just like every other student. Her Instagram was gone. She spoke often in youth gatherings, warning other young girls about choices made in the heat of peer pressure. Nights were quiet, but sometimes, when the harmattan wind blew through Lagos, she thought she heard a distant hiss, and she would smile, not in fear, but in defiance, because the devil's tattoo no longer owned her.